evening and welcome. I'm Mr. Jason with the St. Charles Parish Library Planetarium, and I'm coming to you from my living room. I'm camping in. That's how I'm virtually camping out. And I'm here to show you the stars. Well, I'm not going to go outside to see the stars. Not just yet. I'll do that after I'm finished talking with you. And I'm recorded right now, but, well, I am in the chat below, down there I think, or maybe it's over there. Where am I? Where is Chat Me? Can you say hello? Well, hey Chat Me. You can ask Chat Me questions about what you're seeing here and more. I'll be happy to answer those questions. Right, Chat Me? Good. So, I'm today partnering with the Jean Lafitte National Historic Parks and Preserves to bring you the stars of the southeast. These are the stars you're going to be able to see throughout our southeast region, and tonight at 9 o'clock. Right now it's 8 o'clock for our central time zone, so you have to wait a little bit. You can go out after our talk, but these are the stars for those of you watching from our east coast in the eastern time zone. These are the stars that are out right now. So as soon as we finish up, you can stick your head outside the door, or if you're out back camping, just look up in your backyard. But if it's too cloudy, don't worry, because these are the same stars you'll be able to see the next few nights and next couple of weeks, with only a little bit of shifting going on as we move through spring onto summer and the stars of spring move across our sky. But let's get started first by exploring a star map. This is a star map. A star map is really a map of the stars that you'll see, in this case, at a given time and place. This is a star map of what you would see right along, 9 o'clock tonight, along the Gulf Coast and Florida Panhandle area. If you're a little bit further north, you would see the sky shifted just a little bit. If you're further south in Florida, you'd see it shifted a little bit as well, but in the opposite direction. But not much. This is a star map or a sky map, and you can get your own free sky maps. Just do a little search online. There's lots of them free out there, and they can help you find your way around the night sky. When we're looking at a star map, you might notice first that, our directions, they're a little bit weird. North is on top, yes, and south is on bottom, and, it's east and west that are flipped. We have our circle here, and north there, south on bottom, and east to our left, west to our right on our circle. That's, different. Normally we look at a map, we're looking down at a map, and we see north on top, west to our left, south on bottom, and east to our right. But this map, we're not looking down at, we're looking up. And so the east and west directions have flipped. All around the outside of our circle is our horizon. So just imagine you're laying flat in the ground and looking up at the stars. And you can see the entire sky. Maybe you'll see some trees around you in the distance along the horizon. That's what we're seeing here in our sky map. But how can we use the sky map? Well, we got to know which direction we're facing. And a good start is, the setting sun. As the sun goes down, it's going down in the west. So we can turn our sky map to have west in front of us, and we can turn ourselves towards the setting sun. We're actually going to turn a little bit northwest in this case. This is what the stars would look like. We've zoomed in our star map in the northwest section. We can see a few stars here. You might recognize some of the stars you see on the screen. I know some of you know some of those stars. But I wanted to show you a little bit, a little different stars. These are really bright. They're the first stars you'll see tonight. Wish you may, wish you might. Don't wish on these stars tonight. Because they're not stars, they're fakes, they're imposters, they're planets. If you see a bright star that isn't twinkling as the sun goes down, stars twinkle, we have a whole song about it, right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Well, If you see a bright star that doesn't twinkle, you could be pretty sure you found a planet. And there are two that you might be able to spot if you have a clear view of the northwest horizon as the sun starts to go down. As it starts to get dark, they're going to appear. And they're, well, in our image here, hiding beneath the horizon. But if you look low in the northwest, right there, there's two bright dots. Those are the planets. At 9 o'clock, if you have a clear view of the northwestern horizon, you might be able to spot them. The planet Mercury is the one that's higher up. The one closer to the horizon, and from our point of view, closer to the sun, is Venus. It's strange. Venus is actually further away from the sun than Mercury. But from our point of view, Venus is closer. The sun has just gone down, and Venus is closer to the sun from our point of view. That's because Venus is diving between the Earth and the sun as we speak. Soon it's going to disappear from our early evening sky, only to reappear in the early morning sky, rising up just before the sun rises in the morning. But that's not going to be for a little while. Venus will be disappearing from our evening sky. You might be able to spot Mercury, but Mercury doesn't get too high up in the sky because, well, it is closer to the sun. So from our point of view, it doesn't get too far away from the sun. It either sets shortly after the sun sets, or rises shortly before the sun rises, or is behind the sun from our point of view, or in front of the sun from our point of view, and we can't see it because it's up during the day and the sun's so bright it washes out everything. But if you can get out there for a central time zone, go out as soon as we're done here and try to find these two planets in the northwest horizon. You might even spot them in our eastern time zone with a clear view of the west, as I said. There's more up here, though. There are 7 stars that make a familiar shape. I bet y'all know it. There's 3 stars that make a handle. And then, well, there's 4 stars that make a cup. Those stars are, well, a really big spoon in the sky. They're the Big Dipper. It's up in our sky. It's going to be high up in the sky if you're facing towards the north-northwest. And, well, the Big Dipper is going to help us find our way around the night sky. It's not going to look as small as it does on your screen. It's actually going to be much bigger. We've shrunk down our stars to fit them on the screen, but the sky is huge, so the Big Dipper is going to be stretched across our heads above us in the northern sky. We can use the Big Dipper to find our way around the stars. And we can use 2 stars. We call them the pointers. One is called Merak, and the other one's called Dubby. Stars have some weird names sometimes. But we can draw a line from Merak through Dubby using the Big Dipper, and we draw that line straight down to a very important star. It's important, but it's very, well, dim. It's hard to find. That's why we need the Big Dipper to point us in the right direction. That's Polaris. Polaris, our North Star. Often people go out and find the brightest star they see. They might even find a planet and they're like, oh, there's a North Star, there's a North Star. That's not the case. The North Star isn't bright. It's hard to find, but it's important because it's always up in our northern sky. And if you can find it, you know you're facing north. We can see it here on our screen. Got a nice blue circle around it. But there's more. So much more. Not just the North Star and the Big Dipper. There's other shapes out there called asterisms. An asterism is just a familiar shape that we can make by connecting the dots to the stars. The Big Dipper is an asterism. There's also constellations out there. The Big Dipper is part of a larger constellation. You may have heard of it. Ursa Major, the Big Bear. It's actually the back and long stretched out tail of the bear. And how that stretched out tail got stretched out, well, that's a whole other story for another time. Or you can ask Chat me about it in our chat. So, we're going to use the Big Dipper though. Instead of using it to find the North Star, we're going to follow the handle. The handle of the Big Dipper has kind of a bend. The 3 stars don't line up in a nice straight line. It's got a bend to it, a little bit of an arc. We're going to follow that arc across the sky, and we're going to arc to a bright star, a springtime star. We're going to arc to Arcturus. Arcturus is part of a constellation called Bootes. Bootes is supposed to be a shepherd or a herdsman, but it's hard to see from that shape. That shape looks more, to me, well, it looks more like, well, maybe an ice cream cone? Do you see it? All you gotta do is go out and connect the dots. Find Arcturus. You can arc to it from the Big Dipper, and it's at the base of our ice cream cone. Another asterism. Below Bootes, the constellation of the herdsman, we can find a bright star. This bright star is called Gemma. And it's thought to be a gem in this little half circle of stars that looks kind of like a crown. Gemma is the shining gem in that crown. But Gemma's not the only name for the star. Stars, well, they've been named over and over and over again by people all around the world. Every culture, every language, every people have looked up at the stars and come up with their own constellations, their own pictures, star pictures, and named the stars differently. Gemma is one name for this star, but there's another one, Alphecca. Alphecca is Arabic. It literally means, well, bright of the broken. Because this bright star, along with its, 2 stars above it and 3 stars below it in that half circle, look like a broken string of jewelry, a broken necklace. And Alphecca, that bright star, is the biggest and brightest gem of that necklace. A long time ago, Alphecca didn't just refer to the star, it actually referred to the whole group of stars, this whole half circle. Alphecca. Now we just call the bright star of this half circle Alphecca, but we do have another name for it. We call it Corona Borealis. Corona means crown. Borealis means north. It's the northern crown. And you can imagine a crown up in the sky when you find Gemma in that half circle. Kind of cool, huh? There are lots of star pictures up there. We're going to see a few more. But you have to use your imaginations. We're going to continue on. We're going to go back to the Big Dipper. We use the Big Dipper's handle to arc to Arcturus. From Arcturus, we can speed along to Spica. Or, in some cases, from Arcturus, we can spike down to Spica, depending on when you're observing the sky. Spica is in the constellation of Virgo, the maiden. Virgo is one of our zodiac constellations, the constellations that fall along the path that the sun, moon, and planets appear to take across the sky. We call that path the ecliptic. And that'd be another good question for Chat Jason down there. But we're going to move on because I want to just show you the stars. From Spica, we can continue that big curve across the sky. We curve from the Big Dipper channel through Arcturus, through Spica, and onto a little box of stars. Corvus. Corvus is supposed to be a crow. That box of stars look a little kind of bent out of shape. That's because it's the body and the wings of a crow, a bird. All of our star pictures have stories. One of the stories of Corvus is that he was actually not always a black crow. A long time ago, crows apparently had really beautiful white and gold foliage, feathers. It was incredibly beautiful. It was the bird of Apollo, the Greek and Roman sun god. He would pull the sun across the sky using his chariot. Well, one day, Corvus, ran afoul of Apollo, and Apollo changed his beautiful feathers to jet black. So now all crows have jet black feathers. That's just one story people told a long time ago to explain what they saw here on Earth, and also to entertain themselves when they're looking up at the stars at night. We can arc to Arcturus, spike down to Spica, we can curve to Corvus, or from Spica we can make a leap overhead to a lion. We can make a leap to Leo, the lion. He's up in the sky. We can imagine a picture of the lion roaring high up in the sky. Leo's got some bright stars. In fact, the head and mane of Leo are made up by a group of stars that look like a backwards question mark. We actually call that the sickle of Leo. A sickle is a curved blade used to harvest crops. And that's what this looks like. And people would know, well, it's a good time to harvest crops when the sickle was getting high in the sky. Well, it looks more like a backwards question mark to me. And the point of that question mark is the brightest star in Leo. The point of that question mark is Regulus. Regulus, a very regal sounding name, which is great because the lion's a very regal character, a regal creature. Using Regulus, we can make another shape in the sky. Not a constellation, another asterism. We can connect the dots of Regulus, the bright star Arcturus, and, of course, Spica, and we make a triangle, the spring triangle. These are three bright stars of spring that are high up overhead. They make a nice triangle. It's a little stretched out, though. It's not an equilateral triangle. And because of that, not everyone likes this triangle. They change it up. Instead of using Regulus, the bright star in Leo, they use another star, the tail of the lion, Denebula. Denebula is not as bright, but when you connect the dots of Denebula, Arcturus, and Spica, you make a nice little equilateral triangle in the sky. Some call that the spring triangle. There's all kinds of shapes out there. You could connect the dots and make any shape you want. Just use your imagination. You might not see all these stars. I pointed out the bright ones, but depending on where you are, you might see a few more stars. You may see a lot more stars, including our Milky Way galaxy. Or you might just see these very bright stars that I've pointed out. But go out and look up. A long time ago, people looked up the sky and they connected the dots of the stars to make all kinds of pictures. And they told stories. Stories of the shapes they saw. Stories of kings and queens, of lions and crows, of heroes and monsters. There's so many stories out there, but you can go out and make your own. All you have to do is look up. If it's too cloudy out tonight, don't worry. The stars are always out there. You can get yourself a star map and go out and look up. I'm Mr. Jason, and on, behalf of all the National Park Rangers, especially those in the Southeast region for our virtual campout, I want to thank you for joining us and say that we hope to see you real soon at our parks, and for me, at my planetarium in Southeast Louisiana. Or maybe at one of the events at our local parks here in Southeast Louisiana. You might have seen me before at stargazing in the Barataria Preserve, or camping out under the stars at the Chalmette Battlefield. We'll be back to that soon. But till then, stay healthy, go out, and look up. Thanks for joining me. Say bye, Chatme. Oh, wait, you're not going to say bye? Okay, you're going to stick around for a little bit. Okay, cool. He's sticking around, so if you have any questions, ask Chatme. But I'll say good evening to you.